ask comments directly to me. You can ask comments directly to Andrea. You know, one of my sincere hopes on this, whether you ever decide to become a customer or not, is you'll leave with some value. You leave with something you can bolt into your business immediately to help start growing it. So happy to answer any questions you have about anything: pricing, niche selection, branding, gallery relationships, QR codes, Facebook ads, whatever you want to talk about. I've been doing this a long time. We have 11,000 customers. I get to see all of their data. And so I'm able to call BS on a whole lot of things very, very quickly based on the fact that I never see it selling any art whatsoever, i.e. Pinterest. Okay? I've never seen anyone sell anything from Pinterest. You don't have to waste your time on Pinterest. If you want to be on Pinterest, that is a hobby for you. Okay? It is not to grow your art business. So too with SEO, so too with some other stuff. But anyway, usually just need one brave soul, okay, to kick it off. Who's going to be my brave soul? Steve. That's what I'm talking about, dude. Thank you. All right, Steve's going first. Go ahead, Steve. And you'll need to unmute, Steve. It's a mic icon somewhere down there. It looks like you're on your. Yep, gotcha. You're good. I can hear you.
Does Macari work?
Yeah, I got you. I can hear you. No, wait. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So, what's your question?
Does Macari work? Macari, the app?
I don't even know what Macari is. It's curious.
Okay,
What?
okay. So that's a red flag right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I'm just even though I've been creating art for pieces for a while now, I've never really had the interest of starting to market it because
Mm-hmm.
I was really afraid to try to sell myself because just for fear of people not really respecting my prices. And you said something earlier that she answered my question. But yeah, I just decided to open an app on Macari
Hmm.
to see if that would work. And all I'm getting is stupid views and said no likes or
Yeah,
no
exactly.
response from anything.
Exactly.
And again, I think because of the price, I just automatically threw a steep price out there just to see what would happen. So I'm kind of testing the waters a bit. So what would be your recommendation?
Yeah, not necessarily, right? Like what we have to understand, and I always have to be careful when I say this because I'm streaming on their platforms right now, right? But
Okay.
when you like the social media sites, and you could include Macari in it, which is it sounds like it's just like a marketplace app, whatever. They show your things like their job is to keep us like hamsters on the wheel, running and running and running, and they do that by giving us these little dopamine hits, right? Likes, little comments, little shares here or there. All of it's bullshit. The view counts are bullshit. Okay, 100% of it is just there to suck us back into the application. And when you realize that, you're like, okay, what do I need to be on the lookout for? And there's only two things. Getting sent a direct message. Well, if you have a link to your website, going to your website and buying the art would be one. That's huge, right? That's why
Right.
anyone that is trying to sell their art online and is doing so in a digital capacity, anyone that buys your work, always ask them, how'd you find out about me? Where'd you discover my work? Right? Always ask because otherwise you'll never know. But that's number one. Number two, um,
Right.
what you're looking for is somebody that sends you a message. Hey, Steve, I'm interested in this piece. Can we negotiate? Can I talk about it a little bit? Right?
Right. Right.
Or the aforementioned buying comments like this work is beautiful. You should sell it. Man, I love the colors in this. Right? Those types of comments and the messages are literally the only thing I care about on social media. Every one of my customers will be like, oh my gosh, I just made this Instagram reel and I got 2 million views. It's
Right.
incredible. I have this customer, I love it. We have these Zoom sessions all the time and she's constantly hula hooping in them. That's just her jam. She likes hula hooping. And someone found one of these videos and she got like 5 million views on the Instagram reel. And I was like, Rachel, did anyone contact you to buy your art? She's like, no. I'm like, the 5 million views are bullshit. Okay. It means nothing to your business. I'm happy you had a little viral moment there, but it's not changing your art
Right.
business, right? Now
Right.
your pricing is the other thing. I mean, I don't know how close you followed my rant on pricing, but pricing, you have to understand human beings are wired to make decisions on the basis of comparison. Okay? On the basis of comparison. So what does that mean for you? If you just have one piece up there for 5 grand and I don't have anything to compare it to, it's hard for me to establish the value for that thing, right? Which is why when you have the range of pricing, 0 to 100, 100,000, 1,000 plus, they know. They know. It is much easier to sell a $5,000 original when you have small prints and merch under $100. You have from 100 to, let's say, 1,000 bigger sizes of the various different media types: fine art, paper, canvas, acrylic, metal, right? Maybe you start your limited editions at $1,500, and then you step those up on the big sizes to $3,500, and then you're like, the original's $5,000. Do you know what happens in that case? They don't even switch you on the $5,000 because they understand how you got there, right?
Right.
And so,
Right.
like, I hate this because it's so deflating as an artist, right? It's why you're scared. It's why everyone's scared. It's like, I made this thing. Do you have any idea how much time, energy, and effort and practicing and everything that I poured into it? And I'm selling it for $5,000, and someone comes up to you and like, dude, I'll give you $250. And it's like, oh,
Really? Like, right.
yeah, it's like so deflating. So the range knocks out a lot of that because these people are not bad. They just, we humans don't know how to do it without the basis of comparison. So think about that because that's important, and don't necessarily write off the app. Now, I obviously don't like the app because it doesn't require you to do any marketing. I don't care what it is. If you are not suffering through doing regular and consistent marketing, nothing is going to change in the business. There's just no easy way to phone it in. There's no marketplace you can upload it to. If they don't require you to do any marketing, it is an utter, total, and complete waste of your time. That's what I would say.
Okay, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm almost like now I'm at a point where, like, every 5 seconds, or not every 5 seconds, but realistically, like maybe an hour or so, every hour I'm constantly checking my app to see how many views I'm getting, see if I get likes.
Hamster on the wheel, Steve. You're the hamster on the wheel.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I'm like getting discouraged, and like, I don't want to do that. So, that's why I turn to you guys now to see if I can set something up with you guys in the very, very near future. Because, I want to. This is the real deal. I don't got time to play games. You know what I mean?
Well said. You don't get the days back. You don't get the days back.
As a fellow artist, I know you understand where I'm coming from. This stuff takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Details and stuff like that. And non-artists will never understand that, so they take our work for granted.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm glad you answered my question. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and don't let it get you down. Keep grinding, dude. Honestly, like, once you get the range of pricing, your whole world changes. Like the lowball stuff just doesn't happen anymore. And even when it does, you're like, no, I will not sell it for that because that's $5,000. But guess what? Here's what I do have for $250. And you steer them right to where they're supposed to be. And you just feel better about it. Like, the emotional component of this business is just as important as the business side of it, right? Because it's constant roller coaster, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. And being that you guys are all solopreneurs, you don't have anyone else, you don't have a team to buck you up. You maybe have a significant other, right, that's there to support you. Like, when those lows happen, you need somebody to jump down there with you and go, don't worry, I've been down there too. Let's go. This crap happens all the time. And then you get back on it and you're going again, right? So all of that is really, really important. But who else guys? Questions? And then Sam, I see yours in the chat. I can answer yours, but I always prioritize the hands first. All right, Rosalind, you're up next. You have to unmute, Rosalind. Gotcha.
You say you have 11,000
customers.
Is that 1,000 artists that you have with websites?
It is a veritable cornucopia of artists and photographers and crafters and sculptors and multi-talented threats.
They're all artists. They're all artists.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't understand the 11,000. So how do you kind of manage that? How many people do you have working? How many people does the art store have managing all of these accounts?
I think we're at like 225 employees, something like that. 225, 230 if you count everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You handle all of the merchandising. Let's say I were to say, well, gee, it'd be nice. I think some of my stuff can go on mugs.
Oh yeah.
Calendars. Or you say to me, your stuff would really look great on some calendars and mugs, aside from just regular prints.
Yes.
You make the suggestion. Do I make the suggestion? Do we?
You will find that we are never short of suggestions, my dear. Let me just tell you that. But so the way that it works is, one, we give you the website and the technology. Okay, great. Two, we're integrated with printers.
I have a website. Would you like rearrange it or start from scratch? How does that work?
But the reason you're here is the website's not working because the website's not enough. So yes, you would move to our website platform, but that's very easy. We'd build it for you. But the way that it works is it integrates with printers, and then it integrates with one merch supplier, a company called Guten, and they offer I don't even know, like 30
What
different
name is
products.
that?
Gooten,
What name is that?
Gooten, Gooten, I think. You can check them out. So you're able to sell all that stuff instantaneously. There's no minimums. An order comes in, you get paid, they ship it, you're done. You don't have to lift a finger, which is kind of nice because it gives you that time to get back going on your marketing, right? Which is the main problem. So that's how it goes. I would get a demo, Rosalind, because they walk you. The demo is like, our test driving the car, for lack of a better term. They walk you through all the bells, all the whistles, all the this, all the that, all the plans. They show you everything on the back end and like literally go through everything.
I think Brian and we're going to get together on Wednesday,
Perfect.
and he's going to show me something.
Yep. So he'll show you. And in terms of the merch, like for me, okay, I don't care what it is that you decide. Like our customers are sort of a mixed bag. We can give you some feedback on what we think the best sellers are, right? And these would be good ones to offer. But for me, the only thing that matters is that you have that non-wall art, right? Because a lot of people are just not always in the market for wall art. And you will reach them with your creative message. And all of a sudden, you have something to sell them. And they're like, it's essentially like, I really like this artist. I want to reward their creativity, but I'm in between homes, or I'm remodeling, or I'm still in my mother's basement, or whatever it is. I'm just not ready to make the wall art commitment. Oh, I don't have to talk to my wife. Okay, if I'm going to buy something for like $50 or $60 from you, right? If I'm going to go get the wall art, I'm going to have to talk to the wife. Now we're in a powwow. Now 3 months have passed. Like, who knows, So when you sell those things, then you get the email address. Then they're on your email list, and then you're marketing to them. And surprise, surprise, who comes back and buys? Those folks, because for the last 365 days, they've had your calendar on the wall, or they've been drinking coffee out of your mug, or you're using your tote bag at the supermarket, right? So to me, it doesn't matter what you do. Our customers all kind of pick a mixed bag.
All right. And how about, I really don't really have an email list at this time. The way my art was distributed, I don't really have an email list right now.
Yep. So we teach you how to generate one from day one, and it doesn't matter if you have one on the list or a million on the list. We're all trying to grow it, because the bigger that thing is, the bigger the business is. So don't worry there.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Rosalind.
Thank you.
I'm stuffed up today. All right, Rachel, go ahead.
Hey, I'm not really sure where I would fit in this equation. I love everything that you're saying, and I'm like, I think I need to start selling my art.
Yeah.
I have been traveling and living abroad for the last decade and a half, and my last website was in 2006. I don't know how I survived all these years, but I have. It's all been word of mouth. But I really do want to go through all those files and all those years. It's just such a daunting process.
Yeah.
So that's like step number one. And then number two would be, I guess, to sell the work. But I saw that you guys help with, creating the website, and then of course the marketing. My marketing is shameful.
Yeah.
I mean, my Instagram, it's like, are you a professional photographer? Like, I mean, obviously you see photos there, but and you see that there's, substance, but it's like I've posted once.
Yep. We got to fix that. We got to fix that. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm also having an identity crisis.
Okay.
I did all this massive traveling and living, and now I have children and a husband, and I'm in Baltimore.
Oh, welcome to my world, minus the Baltimore portion. Used to be so fun, and life used to be so free. Not anymore. Yeah.
But if you look at my portfolio, I love that you guys help with the niche, right? Because I do aerial photography, I go in helicopters, I do yoga, I do food, I do headshots, I do it's like I'm all over the map, and I'm I don't even know who I am anymore. I don't even really relate to what I've done in the past. It's this isn't who I am anymore. But I guess I need to get something up. So you guys help. Right?
Yeah. We sure do. We sure do. The thing is this is the cycle, okay? And it's old as time. You guys create the work. You don't ever market it, so you don't ever get it in front of enough eyeballs to know whether you have something or you don't have something. Then you burn out on it, and then you move to the next thing, and then you create that work, and then you don't get that work in front of enough eyeballs, and then you burn out on that, and then you move to the next one. And so you don't even have any idea what your niche is, what your niche could be. You might have already discovered it. You might not. The only way we'll know is that when we get you marketing it consistently, and about a year goes by, one of two things usually happens, okay? you have, let's just say, the 10 different categories you've got up, right? This whole mixed bag that was the last 10 years of Rachel's life. Okay, great. At the end of the year, after we've shown you how to get it in front of enough eyeballs, one of two things emerges. Number one, Pareto's Law. Pareto's Law is the 80-20 rule. It's like you grab any data set and magically there'll be like this 80-20 relationship. In this case, it will mean 80% of the revenue you generated came from 20% of the work. At that point in time, I'd sit down and be like, Rachel, the market is telling you actually have a niche. It's this 20%. Drop the rest of that crap and go all in on this, right? But guess what? It's just as likely that the reverse happens, which you sell a little bit of everything. In which case, it's like, Rachel, the artist is just as important as the art. Turns out those things are 50-50 of a sale. Yeah, it's the work and what you shot and where you were. But guess what? It's also who is Rachel? What makes her tick? She lives in Baltimore. She has kids. Does she like crab cakes? I hope so. The crab cakes are delicious there, right? Like these are the types of things that people will get attached to. And I've seen those situations play out a number of times. No one can tell you. There's no crystal ball. There's grind your ass marketing for a year and let's find out. And then you'll know. And you know what? At the end of that, you might have a home run. You're going. You might have something that produces a little income, but it's not what you want it to be. And that's when we get into, okay, let's try some different niches, right? Like ask Andrea up there. She's trying to find her niche right now like crazy, right? She's struggling and going through that whole process. And let me tell you, it can be miserable. Absolutely miserable because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing all this stuff. I haven't figured out what it is yet. But guess what? If you can just stay focused and stay doing it, you'll find out what it is. And then you really start running. It's great. So we teach you how to do all that.
Just a kind of funny little comment. My best friend and / creative mentor, he says, Rachel, if you die, I'm just going to throw a big party, open the vault, and just show all of your work because no one's ever seen it.
Yeah. Case in point. Case in point, right? And it's not just you. I swear, it's like all artists. It's like I envision it's like some sort of small Mideastern town, in Europe where like the city center is where the market is, right? And you're like out on your farm property creating this thing, and all you have to do is hitch the damn horse to the wagon, take that crap into the freaking market square, and put it out on a table. And you guys never do that, right? We don't know. It could have sold. Anyway, trust me, it is a regular battle for me with all of my customers. So we can help you. If you're serious and you're committed and you're ready to roll, you should go. But yes, I'm fully aware of how difficult it is with the aforementioned, house, mortgage, significant other, kids, dogs, and all the rest.
I'm going to base this on likes, what avenue, which niche.
No. You have no idea. The only thing that matters is sales. I mean, we're gonna throw all of it up. If you haven't sold anything, then your finger in the wood is in the wind is just as good as mine, right? Like we don't know. You make sure you have it all up there and you start hammering it and you see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Good questions. I kind of like the acoustics in that little, what presumably looks like an attic-y kind of a room. I like it. Who else? I'm gonna go to the grid view, see if I've got any more hands up. And then Sam, I can get into yours. You want me just to unmute you, Sam? Yeah, you might as well. All right. And you had a good question, Sam, so you might as well re-ask it so everyone can hear it.
Well, I mainly want to know, since I'm not a natural salesman, what do I have to do to make a Q4, a fourth quarter plan? Because I really don't know what that entails, and let alone what it takes to build an email list, among other things. So
for sure. Good, great question. Do you have any sort of social following at all?
Well, I have some, at least. I mean, it's not huge, but I mean.
Yeah. Got you. Don't worry. So the big picture back of the napkin plan is a couple of things. One, you heard how Black Friday, Cyber Mondays moved up, right? And so literally, in about 9 days, the buying season starts. It just does. And you get all the people that are like, God bless these people that do their Christmas shopping in October. You go-getters, I don't even know how you work that way. I am December 24th, if at all, and then I just go and get cash in red envelopes because I have an Asian aunt, and I say that's what I can do. But it starts in October, and then it all just builds in a crescendo to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and it's the single solitary biggest art selling time of the year. It's not even close. The way that I track it, and I want to see if I've got this thing pulled up. Come on, log me in. I had the slide pulled up. I want you guys to all see this because it's really, really important. And let me tell you, this applies for 100% of you, whether you ever sign up for Art Storefronts or not. It's just a fact of the industry, okay? And it helps. I know you guys are visual people. Don't worry. Don't worry. I came prepared. I'm not just going to talk about it. Okay, hold on. I gotta get this all working. I can just share the screen this way. So just bear with me. This is essentially what it looks like. So if the spring season, right, and these are all quarters, is sort of the baseline of what normally sells in terms of art of photography, you get a little bit of a bump, a 1.5x multiple, okay, during the new year. During summer, you actually get a 3-point bump to the normal thing. And this is normally because everyone moves during the summer. And so when they move, new houses, new decorations, kids, school, all that. And then the holiday season is a 5x bump. So the point is like, if there was one time of the year where you give it a shot, you give it your all, you hammer it, it's starting in 8 days, right? And so that's just important to see and know that visually. It comes up every single solitary year, okay? We are a consumer. North America is just a consumer-driven culture, and when all of these other merchants are spending so much money on all the ads, it just whips us all into a frenzy, and we have our triggers, our fingers on the credit card. Okay, that's number one. Big picture, what you're trying to do between now and then, Sam. Assuming you don't sign up, because let's just keep you in that box for a second.
All right.
Your job is to let as many people know as possible that you are an artist and have art to sell. Okay, and then run a sale well ahead of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, okay? What everyone else does normally, what artists and photographers is like, at some point in time during these last 3 months, maybe it's after Halloween, like all of a sudden life just gets crazy, right? Like we all have more responsibilities. There's more family stuff. There's events. You blink and the next thing you know, you're like, okay, what am I bringing to Thanksgiving, right? So what most artists and photographers do is they just get swept up into that. And they're like, oh crap, it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I need to run a sale. And then like one day before Thanksgiving, they send an email to 3 people and they do one Facebook post and they're like, hope and a prayer, hope it goes well. And you don't want to be in that scenario because you've already lost, okay? So you don't have a huge email list, that's okay. You have some social following, that's great. Step one is really just letting those folks know you exist, letting those folks know you have art to sell, and letting those folks know that you have a sale coming up, right? And then start the sale, okay? Start the sale well before Black Friday, Cyber Monday, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before, okay? You launch ahead of that, and you call it your pre-Black Friday sale, okay? And you let everyone know that you've got art for sale. Now, if you don't have a website, you can do the tried and true. Guys, I am trying to launch my art career and get it going. I'm going to show all the pieces that I have in inventory. Make me an offer. And then shut up. Don't say anything else. Make me an offer. Right? If you only have Instagram, you can do a post, every post with you holding the piece and go, I'm trying to get my art business launched. Make me an offer, send me a DM, and then shut up and see what happens. Right? The whole trick behind the make me an offer, by the way, is just to start a conversation. It's just to start a conversation. That's all you're looking to do. So that's that.
I'm trying to start my art business, and
yeah. And like, your friends, your family will get behind you, and sometimes that's all the kick in the pants that you need, right? Now, more broadly, Sam, you're a huge introvert, which I can tell, right? And
yeah,
you're gonna have to get over it.
How do you know?
You're gonna have to get over it. Okay, it's gonna take some time. It's like anything else, reps and sets. Okay, I hate being on video. I've always hated being on video. I got over it because I'm contrarian enough to know like this is modern communication in today's day and age. And do you know what's gonna end up happening when you do? You're gonna struggle. You're gonna stutter, stammer, look scared, okay, be terrified. And you know what's going to end up happening as a result of you doing that? All the people that you know that are your friends, fans, followers, the ones that are introverted are going to be like, damn, that Sam is brave. I totally can relate to being terrified of being on video, to being terrified of marketing. And they're going to end up buying stuff from you because that's how it works, right? We all relate to people that are just like us and that we can understand. So you got to get over it. It's going to be painful. But trust me, if you do, yeah.
Yeah, I admit that I'm terrible on camera and that sort of thing, but well, with that kind of motivation, why not?
Why not, Sam? That is exactly the attitude I'm looking for. Good job. And by the way, this is what we do all day at our business because you think you're the only one? You think you're the only one? No. No,
Probably
you are
not.
not the only one. It is like 90% of my customers. Like video is the single solitary most effective form of communication that exists. And I'm gonna let me grab one of these. Like, look, none of us have hair, none of us have makeup, none of us are actors. We all live in normal houses. Okay, none of us are rolling around in a Bentley, and quite frankly, no one gives a shit. Okay, be real, be you, who you are. Hold the thing up. Talk about it. Talk about your inspiration. Show me what it looks like. Tell me that it's ready to hang. Tell me that you'll sign it and do that, right? Like I honestly, I kick and push and scream and cajole, harass, bribe. I deploy everything I've got in my arsenal to keep my customers moving and do this and do this and do this. And let me tell you, everyone's terrified just like you. So even if I just get my customers to just get even slightly decent at it, they're likely better at it than 95% of artists, because 95% of artists aren't doing a damn thing anyway, right? So that's your motivation.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And I've got a podcast. Most people don't know this. It's good. You know, if you like you see my brand of teaching today. I'm sort of no nonsense, a little bit mouthy.
Yeah.
It's called the
I've
Art
been trying
Marketing
to find
Podcast.
it.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcast. It's on YouTube too. If you don't have a podcast app, strongly recommend you listen to it, because there's a ton of like really good tactical stuff that you can deploy. I've got some episodes early on from a couple of years ago that are still totally true, that talk about the anatomy of a sale and kind of how you weave your email to dovetail with your social posts, and like what kind of language to use. So go and find those, and those will help you out.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome. And by the way, you were just totally having a conversation on camera. It's all good, dude. You did it right there. You know, it came out of your shell a little bit. That's how it goes.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah.
I have to be on my way though.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks so much for everything.
Yeah. Have a great weekend. Keenan, it's called the Art Marketing Podcast. Here, I know when the screen's blurry, it's kind of annoying. By the way, in case you're wondering who did the logo, it was me. It was like 8 years ago, and I had about 2 minutes to get it done. Okay, I'm not a graphic designer. I need to get this thing tuned up. It is so ugly, but that's what it's called, the Art Marketing Podcast. Anywhere you just search Art Marketing Podcast, and you guys will find it. It's really easy. It's really good too. Over 500,000 downloads, actually, which I'm quite proud of. But who else, guys? Questions? Can be anything about anything. Yeah, I even asked about, like, I'm a wood burner. Can you help? We can. You know, it's the funny thing. The funny thing is, like, all artists are all in the same category. And do you know what the good news for you guys is? I think it's easier to make it as an artist selling wall art than I do writers, and then I do musicians. I think those are both inherently harder, much harder businesses to make it. You know, they each have kind of like their little niches and issues. But where I was going with that, it doesn't matter if you're wood turning or what you're doing. You have the same marketing problem that every other single solitary person in this room has. And, you know, you got to just get going. You got to get going on it, right? And you, Theresa, being that you're here again, did you hear what Rosalind said? Okay. Rosalind, okay, who's in a vastly different season of life than you. She's young, and I want her to get started out right. She's sold a ton of art back in the day. In fact, I'm going to unmute you, Rosalind. I want you to speak to Theresa directly, because Theresa's young and she's trying to get her business going. How many sales did you make?
I really look a lot. I look great for my age.
Yeah, she's at least 10 years older than you, if that. So look, if you would have had, and it's not blaming you, okay? It's no one knew in your season of life, your generation, when you were coming up, like, you need to know who your customers are. You need to capture their email addresses, right? And if you had those records from all of those art sales that you made from all of those decades, you would have a huge business right now. You'd have a huge business.
Yeah, and also we did all of those, you know, the tours, the sitting around in the hot sun, and waiting for people to come to us.
The shows and fairs she's talking about, you know, art set up on a table. Yeah.
Shows and fairs, and you know, what a torture.
Yeah. It's for the young for sure, right? It's for the young for sure. So that's what I would say. But anyway, internalize that. The point is that, like, Theresa was on here earlier, and you know, the majority of the people that come on these calls are usually older. I don't get a whole lot of people in their 20s and young 30s. And, you know, I have the desire to be like a mentor in that position. Just like, look, you have so much time left. If you just get the lead capture right, and if you just market consistently, like the potential of your business, it's, you know, it's kind of like if somebody taught you that you need to eat right and exercise in your 20s instead of your 50s when you developed a gut, right? Like you're going to be in a way better position, okay? A way, way better position. Oh, and what's up, Jonathan? My Twitter buddy, huh? Yeah, I saw your tweets. I see everything, Jonathan. I see everything. So, yes, I saw your tweets. If you have a question, yeah, you can raise your hand. Go ahead. I'll unmute you.
Hey, thank you so much, Patrick.
Yeah, no problem.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you for waiting, everyone. I was late. I had an appointment for a medical thing to attend to, and then I thought it was going to be at 1 p.m., so I thought it was going to run into each other. So
You're all good. You made it. You missed, you missed the presentation, but, you know, all good to be able to ask questions. Yeah.
Hopefully there's another one going to be happening soon.
3 days a week, brother. 3 days a week.
3 days a week.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll attend the next one, and I also did a shameless plug for my Shopify. I don't know if
I don't mind. I don't mind the shameless plug. I mean,
okay.
It's a direct competitor, Jonathan, but it still doesn't.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, I don't mind taking it off.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But it's good to see you, and thanks for the tweets and the retweets.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Who else? Questions, comments, concerns? Rachel's asking how expensive we are. We're expensive, Rachel. You know, us in comparison to everyone else, like we've sort of had this like long arc and evolution as we're coming up on our 10th year, which I think is going to happen sometime this year. It's 10 years. First, we started out with a website, and then all kinds of people were canceling, and we're like, what the hell? We have the best website in the world. Why are they canceling? Turns out they're not canceling because they're not successful. Turns out they're canceling because a website is not enough. A website is absolutely nothing. A website is a commodity. It's a commodity. We have the best ones in the internet. It doesn't even matter. It's a commodity. Okay. And you know, people are like, well, you're the website guys. And you know, you're saying that about your own product. Yeah, I am, because it does not create a business. It does not create success. You could have the greatest website in the world. It's just a restaurant with no diners in it. Right? Because it's not the problem. The marketing's the problem. So then we started working on solving the marketing problem. First, we started with the best education, right? Had that going for quite some time. Do it yourself, read it at your own pace. Then we started with the calendar, and the calendar tells you what to do 365 days a year, when to run sales, how to contemplate your discounts, what to do here, there, that. Okay, great. Then we started having Zoom sessions like this. We have 9 of these a week internally for our customers. I teach them, the CEO teaches them, members of my marketing team teach them, and that worked out really well. And then we put all of our customers in a private Facebook group, and now we're using, it's really actually kind of cool. I'm really proud of it. So we have essentially like 9, you know what, I could show the visual because you guys are visual people. All right, so let me show, I'm just going to show you this quickly. So this is daily, okay, literally daily, the number of Zoom sessions we have. And some of them are differently like themed. I don't know, my Venezuelan team member did 14, 15, 16, 17. Put this in military time. I can't read the military time. But anyway, we have 2 Monday, 2 Tuesday, 2 Wednesday, 1 Thursday, 2 Friday. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And what's really cool is that Zoom has this technology called breakout rooms. And it's basically like Zoom sessions that are branched off from the Zoom session. And so anyone at any point in time, all day long, can pop into one of those things and be like, I need technical support. I need help with the product. I need marketing support. And they can go and get it. And like leave in the main Zoom room when they don't even have to go into the topic. And why do I bring that up? It's not about getting your art up on a website. Yeah, you have to have it up on a website. Jonathan, the minimum, right? But it's everything that happens after that. Are you getting coached regularly? Are you being taught how to grow your email list, your social following? Are you being taught how to run a sale? Are you being taught how to run a live art show? Do you understand how to change your niche if you need to change your niche, right? Like, what are the things that are working? What are the things that are not? If you're not doing that on a regular and consistent basis, if you're not doing it with a group of your peers that are all suffering miserably just as much as you have to learn all of these things, you're not growing and you're going to quit. And that's what the masks say. So that is the big differentiator between us and everyone else. But you should go get a demo, Rachel, and let them walk you through as there's plans and pricing and yeah, do them. And they'll schedule it for you so it doesn't get in the way of kiddo time or anything else. I will send you guys a replay of the presentation. I will also send you all the links, the bells, the whistles, the things that I mentioned in the first one. There's some really good posts in there, some really good posts on pricing. For anyone doing in-person shows at theirs, there's like a really good article on that, a ton of good stuff. Totally recommend you guys all subscribe to the podcast. And then one other thing that's kind of fun, and I want to show you guys this. I'll have to share my screen again. Let me get pulled up. But we do a ton of marketing on the socials, right? And one of the questions that I get on the socials literally all the time, okay, is, and they're snarky comments, and I don't really care for them, but it's, yeah, we're the successful artists, Patrick. We're the successful artists that are on your platform that you made so successful. And I hate the question because the premise is wrong. And the premise of those questions that people ask like that way, they're like, they think in their mind that there's some website platform out there that magically makes you a successful artist. Biggest bunch of bullshit in the history of mankind. The only one who's going to make you successful is you. There are certain businesses, ours included, that will help you get there faster, and that's what I think that we're good at. But anyway, those nonsense questions aside, I because we've been doing this for as long as we have, because we have 11,000 customers, we do have some artists on our platform that are in the top 1% of art sellers in the world, top 1% of art sellers in the United States. And so I've started grabbing some of these folks and interviewing them, and it's been really, really fun. The first one I did was Jonah. This guy's really, really interesting. Okay, I think he's 29 now, and he sells about $100,000 worth of his artwork a month. He's got his own gallery in the Panhandle of Florida. And essentially the format is, this is the blog post that happens after the fact, but, you know, I interview him for an hour, okay, where, you know, I ask the questions that I want to ask pointedly. And then just like today, you know, it's a Zoom session with Q&A, and anyone can come. So you guys can all come, you know, ask him questions directly and do that. So one I did was Jonah. I'm going to email you the links to these after the fact. So the first one I did was Jonah. The next one I did, which was really fun, was this gal named Meg. She's been a customer 7 years ago, maybe 5 years, I think. And she's over the $1 million mark, which is really cool. She's done some amazing things. And like, I've been blown away by doing these interviews because you realize how good these guys are at their individual techniques and tactics. And Meg has done like really, really well with licensing and image licensing. She got this crazy story about this, you know, she did this like celebrity painting for Ted Lasso and then turned it into a mug and like broke the internet. Oh, Rosalind, there's a story for you about mugs. She sold so many of these things. That was the mug with, you know, the Ted Lasso painting. She sold so many of these things. Her credit card company shut her down, thinking it was fraud. But anyway, the next one, do I have it pulled up already? The next one, and I'm doing this one next Thursday, and any of you guys can come if you want. You know, next Thursday at 1 o'clock. I think we're doing it next Thursday at 1. Yeah, next Thursday at 1 o'clock Pacific, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Is that right? I think that's right. Is Betty. Her story is amazing too, and she, you know, they all have these like incredible stories that are unique, right? And in this case, it's one that she started her art career when I think she was in her 50s, like after getting a divorce, and immediately like nailed her style, nailed her niche. Now she teaches a little bit. You know, she's Croatian American, and you know, yeah, she's just an incredible story. And I think she started it in 2017. By 2020, she was doing $100,000 a year, and she's done that every single solitary year since. So, if any of you guys want to come to that, I'll ask your question in a second, Rosalind. If any of you guys want to come to that, it'll be next Thursday. If you guys are on the email list, I will email it to you. And so if you want to come, it's literally going to be just like this. I'm going to interview her for an hour, and then after the fact, everyone can raise their hands, and assuming there's time, we can get into any and all your questions. All right, Rosalind, go ahead. You had a final question.
You mentioned something about who handles the licensing and copywriting of our work.
That's up to you. Like, okay. we don't own anything. They're your images. It's your everything. We don't do that. Now we have some classes internally that teaches you how to do various different things. But in Meg's case,
like an artist, their work is automatically copyrighted.
No, it's not automatically copyrighted. But you know, like people get so terrified of like the copyright thing on both sides of the equation, right? It's funny because this is one of the things I rant about all the time. So one side of the aisle is copyright in terms of like, do I need to watermark my images? Are people stealing my images? Like, I'm worried that if I put it online, biggest bunch of bullshit ever. This business is so hard to make it. No one is running around stealing your art from the internet and reproducing it and making millions while they're steepling their fingers and waxing their mustache. It doesn't happen ever. You know, and if it does, in these freak occurrences, you get a lawyer and you sue them. That's number one. Number two, on the other side of things, I have so many artists that, you know, I think copyright in terms of like what work you're reproducing, you know, and how closely you're using celebrity images or this or that, everyone just does it and gets away with it. And if you don't get away with it, they send you a cease and desist letter. So that's kind of how I feel about it. People beat me up for that, right? And get like really, really upset about that. But I think it's total nonsense. Jude's like, that is not true. Which one, Jude? I have been running these sessions 3 days a week for like years and years and years. I know which one she's upset about. And you know, I just don't know of anyone that had their work stolen and somebody went and made a ton of money on it. Like, it's happened once or twice here or there, but it never amounts to any money. You send him a cease and desist letter and it's over. Yeah, Jonathan says he's received a cease and desist letter. That's what happens, right? And you know what? Do you know what everyone else does instead? Okay, everyone else instead gets petrified and terrified and thinks that they need to like go and consult a lawyer and this and that, and they don't ever end up creating the work. And then they don't ever find out if it sells. They don't even ever know if they have anything. Like, our society says that you can go and do these things, and oftentimes you're never going to get in trouble, whether it's right or wrong. Oftentimes, if you do, you're going to get a cease and desist letter, like Jonathan will. Or do you know what sometimes happens? They contact you, and they're like, "This is really cool. I really like this. Do you want to go into a licensing deal on it?" That happens too, right?
Yeah.
But what I don't like are these people that are like,
Husband had that happen with some of his pictures.
Exactly. So, you know, I understand both sides of the argument. I'm just reflecting what I've seen in my career. Like, I'm not advocating anybody steal things. I'm not advocating people don't steal things. All from what I've been able to observe, though, is that it seems to me it's easier to beg forgiveness than ask permission. Okay? I see people that hung up and want to talk to lawyers and think they're lawyers and argue about all of that, and they don't ever do anything. And that's really what I'm against, because do something. I would rather you do something and then get a cease and desist letter than not. But I got to tell you, we have 11,000 customers, and I think during our 10-year history, we've maybe only received 1 or 2. That's it. The whole entire time, right? They don't care. You're too small. They're not worried about it, right? And, you know, it's funny because this is totally an interesting story. So I've got a customer, okay? He's a photographer, and he started his career doing like these really cool, like industrial downtown city photos of like bridges and like architecture. Turns out he also loves a certain park that might have something to do with the mouse. So you know what he does? He goes into that amusement park, takes these beautiful photos of the various different rides and things, and sells them, and does incredibly well. And do you know what he found out? There is actually a group, okay? There is actually a group that has Disneyland employees inside of it saying, keep at it, guys. It's awesome. We love it. It's free publicity. If it ever gets too big, we'll contact you. How awesome is that, right? Like, now he's helping people put Disneyland on their wall, and they're totally behind it. I mean, that's an amazing thing. So, yeah, don't let it stress you out, the copyright thing. It's, you know, you cross the bridge when you get to it. That's what I would say. But thank you, Rosalind. My voice is running out of horsepower. I've been sick all week. My kids got me good. Not COVID, though, thankfully. Well, I appreciate all of you guys. I hope you found it valuable. I hope you got some actionable intel and or insights out of it. I will send you an email. The email will have the replay. I want you all to have a wonderful weekend. And Q4 is coming, so giddy up. Let's go, guys.